So we just created our first entity, our first database with a couple of records in there, the 4 chapters. Let's now go ahead and go to the Flow Builder and see how we can use the database that we created to show some data. Now, first of all, what I want to do is to keep to the kind of convention that we can call it in how to build bots with BotStar. We're going to create a module first. We're going to call that MOD CMS example. So we started with MOD because it's a module. I went into the module, and there's a couple of things that we can do with the CMS data. Now, for example, I can use a block, and in any other block that you see over here, it will give you in the block configuration the CMS option over here, and it will give you the CMS option over there. Now, this is for just a quick replies, and I tended to always click on this and then try to select the data. So probably you're going to make that mistake a couple of times as well, or not, of course, because you're all way smarter than I am. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this, and it will show you the options, which says select an entity. So we created the entity chapters. Click on that, and because we're in a text block, which can only show one piece of data and the image, video, audio file as well, it will always query limit this to 1. And then I'm going into the sorting in a minute. Now what happens if I turn this off and I select the data, I'll go to my variables, I only see these variables. Okay, now again, turning it on, chapters, going back here, it will now also show me the CMS variables. The name, the description, chapter number, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so for example, welcome to chapter number, space, and you will see it will use the first one directly, and then say name. And it will display the data there. Okay? Now, for now, it's kind of hard because you need to know how to filter, sort, and maybe make that a little bit more dynamic. But for now, what the most easiest way actually is to use the CMS system is in lists and quick reply. So let me get to a list first. Let me recall this straight into this CMS example. Right? On the block configuration, I'm going to click use CMS data, chapters. I can set the maximum number of items to maximum of 10, so I'm going to do that for now, because if it's only 4 records there, it will only show 4 items. And I'm going to do the sorting later on. Now, we set up the block correct to use the data from the CMS. I'm going into the different areas of the horizontal list. I'm going to delete the buttons because we're not going to use them for now. So I'm going to say picture. I can either use a URL, upload, or I can use the CMS now. If I click on select the photo field, I'm going to select the photo field that we just created in the CMS. And you see straight away, boom, there it is. Now, if we go to the title, you can select the title here, go to this little variable button here, and use the name of the record, so the title of the chapter. Now, in order to do that, we're going to say chapter number 1. The subtitle, this is going to be your description. There you go. Now, let me run this block real quick. So we just created a list with multiple items straight from the CMS system, and if I would change something in the CMS system, it would clear that out here directly. Now, as you can see, it says 1, 3, 2. And as you maybe can remember, is this what I told you in the last video? This is because I did that on purpose. Because if you go into the block configuration again, it says sort by created date. So I first created the first one, then 3, then 2. So if I want to sort it correct, I can use now the chapter number, and you will see it will sort it out correctly. This is why I'm always saying use this as a separation, because I would do the name, sorry there, name, it would start with the C, G, V, which we don't want to do, chapter number. Okay? So, that's the horizontal list. If I now play it off or test this, you will see it's done correctly. Now imagine that you would, for example, say a call this web link. There you go. And open the web URL. You can also select a video URL, which will then link straight into a website for the buttons. We hope that makes sense. Okay, let's delete the list. If I now go into the text field, I want to show you real quick how to make a small dynamic menu. Choose your chapter. Right. Now, again, over here, quick replies says CMS as well. If I click on that, it will open up, it will add this to the text block. And if I click on it, you will recognize this data over here. It's the same as in this part. It looks the same. Go to there, then I say chapters. Again, sorry, I'm gonna do entity name. And there you go. We got 4 quick replies with a maximum of 11 that we can create over there. Now, we can use this all for linking to another field or to another blog, and then filtering data, but I'll get to that in a minute. So, quick recap, we can use it in a horizontal list. Use it here. There you go. Make that 10. CMS, picture. Or we can use them in quick replies. Now, in order to use it for an image, you can do the same. A video would be a video URL. Buttons, all this is where you can use your CMS data. Most of the times it's either used in the quick replies for making a selection, or in the list, of course. Alright, up to the next chapter, guys. I hope that this was clear as possible.